I would like to thank Dollar Shave Club for sponsoring this episode of the vlog. Each one of us has our own everyday grooming routine. Showering, brushing your teeth, and for me, sometimes shaving my neck. No matter your routine, Dollar Shave Club.
Yes.
Dollar Shave Club has everything you need. Toothpaste, body wash, razors, everything to help you look, feel, and smell your best. Check it out. The products are best in class for less than best in class. I use the Awakening Body Cleanser and I use the Shave Butter. Everything is super high quality and helps me look and feel my best. Dollar Shave Club is basically giving away their daily essential starter set to new members for only $5. This starter set features 3 trial size versions of their most popular products that help you stay fresh and clean along with their executive razor. In your first box you will receive their Shave Butter, body wash, and One Wipe Charlie's butt wipes. You will also receive their executive razor, which includes a premium weighty handle and full set of cartridges. After the first box, replacement cartridges are sent for just a few bucks a month. This offer is available at dollarshaveclub.com/Jimmy J. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Jimmy J. If you support my sponsors, I get to keep playing around in the workshop, so thank you very much. Thank you for coming back, I appreciate it. This week I made this knife handle and this sheath. This knife is for my buddy JD, the welder. His brother gave me this knife and asked me to make a handle for it. This knife has sentimental value to him and his brother. It was a project that their father never got a chance to finish. It was an interesting project for me because it's not something that I typically do. I took the opportunity to learn a few things and to experiment a little bit. And making something with leather is not something that I'm really good at. I kind of work in the dark every time and try and take a brand new approach. It was interesting for me because I learned a couple of new things. Something I need to do more often is put a fancy handle on a knife. And I'm working on the canoe, as you can see. I just need to put the rib in the middle and the seats and then these pieces at the end. I'm experimenting with a technique where I'm not necessarily going inside the gunnels. I'm going to go with something underneath just because I like those long straight lines. I don't want to interrupt them at the ends. I think I might go with a piece of sapele up underneath, not in the surface or the top. I'm not sure. I haven't made that final decision yet.
I actually texted myself last night.
So are you interested in selling this? A couple weeks ago I met a guy named Mike. Mike brought me that antique printing press, and while we were hanging out, we were talking about the various collections that we both have, and he invited Brett and I across the river to go look at his stuff. And one of the cool things he had was this Bradley power hammer. Bradley hammer made probably at the turn of the century. It needs restoration, and he made a deal with me. All right, we're going to make a verbal contract. Mike, where can people see you?
Milling lumber, I think, or something like that?
Making the breast hook with Lou.
Yes.
And Lou's previous series. So I'll link it below. So that's where we first met you on YouTube. But that Bradley hammer, 1880s maybe even early?
1890s, yep.
1880s, 1890s. You said you promised to sell it to me in New Year's Day 2020 if you haven't started the restoration yet.
Finished.
All right, that's a deal. Thanks, buddy. And while we were hanging out with Mike, checking out his collection, I ended up buying a couple of really cool things. Brett bought his new anvil, and I ended up buying a ring anvil or a cone anvil, which is pretty cool. You'll see later on the Blacksmith shop is getting pretty well stocked. And I bought an apple cider press, so Taylor wants to make apple cider. Coincidentally, this young man had an apple cider press. So Mike, thank you for the good pickings. I'll see you soon. If you guys remember Mike, he's the one who gave me the antique printing press in the last vlog. The antique printing press had been sitting out in the rain for 20 years. He gave it to me for free. And I realized that the rollers from my 8x11 Chandler and Price printing press fit on this. It's a Damon and Pete's printing press. Got the machine rolling and rocking. I laser cut this plate and I made these postcards just to see if I could do it. These postcards I'm going to bring with me to the New York Maker Faire. I will be at the New York Maker Faire this coming weekend. So if you see me, if I have any left, I'll give you one of these cards. Enjoy this little movie of this printing press. So my buddy Will Stelter sells this print on his shirt. It says "Forge or Die." Some of his fans that know me suggested that he hire me to print this image to sell as a poster. It was good for me because I took it on as my first contract printing job. It was the first thing I did for somebody else. There's a certain set of pressures which you don't typically put on yourself when you're making for yourself, but when you're making for somebody else, you know everything's going to be scrutinized. So it was good for me to work under that sort of pressure, albeit very light pressure, but I wanted to make sure that what I did for Will was quality work. It was really good practice for me. And so I sent these to Will. I'll link Will's website and Instagram below. If you want one of these posters, you can go buy it directly from Will. And in more printing news, I printed a new poster. Brett did the final design. The concept is why I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Something I say all the time. I mentioned it in a vlog a couple weeks ago and a fan said, hey, make that a poster. So I followed that person's advice and we printed them today. They came out really, really, really nice. I'm really happy with this new level of quality I'm trying to achieve. I'm just reading and paying more attention to how prints are made and trying to do the right thing. These prints will be available on my store probably next week. I have to package them, put them in envelopes, get them ready to sell, so it takes a little bit of time, but we're probably going to open up the pre-orders probably next week. You guys remember a couple of vlogs ago, I ended up making this knife with my buddy Steve. This is a simple knife for me. It's just a laser cutout knife, and I get to sharpen it and harden it. I'm trying to come up with a simple everyday carry, which will kind of carry right in your flat front pocket. And this is the knife I'm working on. This is the first 5 I'm working on. I'm working on them to try and figure out if there's any improvements I want to make to either the way it's shaped or the way it's sharpened or the way it's hardened, and then I'll probably hire somebody to make a bunch more for me. In the meantime, I'm just experimenting with learning my heat treating and just experimenting, learning things that have always intimidated me. I was in Louisville last week. I was invited to come be a judge at FirstBuild. If you don't know FirstBuild is an amazing makerspace inside a University of Louisville. It is a think tank, an incubator. Well, this place has got some really amazing tools. Laser cutters that can cut steel, bending jigs that are digitally controlled. It is amazing. I learned so much just hanging out. I got to experiment with new forms of welding that I've never done before. I got to experiment with the laser cutter. I started cutting out all these razor blades that I was thinking about doing because I had some time while I was there. Got to hang out with my new friend Austin and Jody and a bunch of other new guys that I'm probably going to stay in touch with, I hope, because these guys have such an amazing energy and they have such an amazing workspace. And they develop products for GE. I hope I'm saying that right. And this was a hackathon. I was invited to be a judge during this hackathon, and the hackathon was designed to try and come up with new products for the home. It was a lot of fun getting to see these young kids develop some new crazy cool stuff and innovate on top of existing products and just make up brand new products. And then it was really difficult to come down to a winner, the top 3. There were various categories of winners, so it wasn't just one top winner, it was a lot of winners. On the Sunday I was there, right outside was a maker village, maker fair, so to speak, a small mini maker fair. Really talented people, got to see some really beautiful things happening there. And I met this guy, Lowell. Lowell makes his own tanks. Well, Lowell's a fan of mine, but now I'm a fan of his. Check out this stuff. How long have you been making them?
5 years, I guess, 5 or 6 years. My name is Lowell Mitchell, and I build miniature army tanks.
Right on.
Miniature 2,000-pound army tanks. I was fascinated by army tanks my whole life.
Yeah.
And the little one kept falling off, so I built a miniature army tank. The second day it ever came out into the public, it was just insane, the reaction we got.
Just wanted to make a tank. Now he's made 5 of them, and he said each one of them is improving and getting better and better each time. It really gets me excited to see people trying new things. At the hackathon, I got to meet John. John has a crazy cool makerspace just across the river from Louisville. It's in Indiana.
Hey, my name's John Riley. I make this makerspace. Maker13.com has all the information.
Right.
Pop-up classes with industry professionals,
Right.
Everybody in between, and hobbyists, crafters, anybody.
Right.
The equipment's awesome. There's CNC everything, lasers, 3D printers, all that. And it's not scary. And it's
Right.
okay to make things.
If you're crazy like me for heavy metal, and I mean real heavy metal, check out Brian Block's channel. Brian and I met a couple years ago, and we stayed in touch, and he inspires me to find cool, old, heavy metal. And he's got a cool accent, which I love.
Brian Block, and I fix big things.
Did you get that on your license plate yet?
So I have not. I make that, well, I fix that. It's pretty much what I do.
You have a channel where you handle heavy equipment. You got all kinds of crazy, heavy stuff.
Yeah, BC Block 02, or if that's too hard to find, just Google this old barn shop and it'll come up.
Or Google the worst shop day ever.
Yeah, and then you'll get to see the drill saw, which everybody always talks about.
Right.
Formally educated as a master's in mechanical engineering from the speed school here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, you went to the speed school where I was all day?
Yep. I went to
Oh,
speed
that's
school.
awesome.
Went there, got my formal education, doing high performance racing components and obtaining stuff in a timely manner in that industry is virtually impossible.
Right.
So it just got to be, if you want it, you're gonna have to make it yourself.
Right.
So I learned to make it myself and turned that into a business making stuff, doing a lot of racing components, turbochargers, camshafts, engine stuff for multiple 1,000 horsepower, pulling tractors and trucks and that kind of thing. Big stuff that there's usually one of in the world, that's what I like to work on.
Right on.
So,
What's the heaviest piece of equipment you've actually had to either make, fix, or repair? Like as a single part?
as a single part, well, probably that drill would be close to that.
The broken one?
The casting on it is probably 8,000 pounds, and I welded it back together because it was broken in half.
Damn.
So that would be a pretty major component. As far as stuff, the machine work wise, I've done some gearboxes that were 3,000 pounds just for the case.
Really cool. What is the one thing you need that you don't have?
Time.
If you don't know the channel, go check out the channel Tips from a Shipwright. Lou makes these incredible boats. You could follow him along through the whole series making the boats. Well, a friend of his, Thomas, wanted to raise some money for Lou. He put together this whole product line based on Lou's drawings for his latest series. So go check out the links below if you're interested. All the proceeds go to supporting Lou's channel and keeping his channel up on YouTube. And the discount code for buying stuff for Lou is DiResta. So go to ballparkblueprints.com, type in the discount code DiResta, you'll get to save a few bucks. I'll link Thomas's website below, which will be a direct link to the products, and all the proceeds go directly to Lou, Tips from a Shipwright. And Lou's website link, everything will be linked below. You guys know Chris Chops? Chris Chops came and interviewed me in his cool new throne that he hand carved. So look for a video coming up on Chris Chops' channel. It'll be him interviewing me on the hot seat. And last but not least, the Blacksmith shop now is operational. David and Roberto put the roof on it. Brett helped them out. Brett's making a little bit of a video that's going to cover a little bit more details about what we're doing, how we're setting it up. It's going to be prepared for the class, and I'll have no excuses. I'm going to have to actually do some real blacksmithing and stop collecting tools, but actually using tools. That's this week in news. Thank you for following. Going to be at the New York Maker Faire this weekend. Laura Kampf's going to be there. Bob Claggett's going to be there. There's going to be a whole bunch of other YouTubers. There's a big giant meetup Saturday night in Flushing somewhere in New York. If you're around, come hang out with us at the New York Maker Faire this weekend. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Hey, buddy boy.